A second. So as we know, with schools open and everything, I went back 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to speak too much about it, but again, I speak at probably the end of the year about it. Um, but yeah, it's very different. As I say, it's very different. I just want to talk about the anxiety levels and depression levels among young people at the moment, because as I said at the beginning of the year, and I said this, and many people didn't at the time didn't take it. And my reasoning behind this, older people live through a lot. They're able to cope better than young people. And as a young person, you will know yourself that you're able to cope. That you're not able to cope. Young people haven't. What I'm trying to say is, older people have a lot more experience in coping with extreme different, like honest to God, some things you hear from older people. You wonder how they were able to live through it. Like for example, some like my parents at one stage, they came from one very poor background, where they have 11 kids to feed. My grandmother had 11 kids to feed. And it's difficult. She was a single mother. She was only getting a small bit of money. Had to put them through school. She was a very good woman. To have to put them through school, having to put food on the table, having to pay the bills, having to do the housework, everything on her own. I'm sure everybody agreed that was tough on that woman. And how she did it. Some would say, some even she had to go without food herself. From there was stories she had to go for 2 weeks without food so she could feed her children. She done without food. She done without everything she needed to feed her children, to put them through school and everything. She went without stuff more or less, and basically starved herself at some stage to put them through school. And that's obviously was very tough, especially being a single mother, only having a small bit of income, and their father died at a young age. Having to raise them and put them through school, everything it was not easy. I'm sure people agree it was not easy. And you just have to wonder how she did it. How could she do all that? Like, she had to do it all herself. And I'm sure people agree that was very, very tough. Especially 11 kids. Imagine that. Now the one or two is hard enough, but 11 kids. To feed and to make sure they go to school and get clothes and to pay the bills. Difficult. Very, very difficult. But yeah, young people, young society, anxiety levels and depression levels of young people, especially in secondary schools at the moment, is ridiculous. I can see it because, again, I lived through all these dark moments in my life, as we call them, dark moments. I can see it. I can really see it. I can see it in people that they are very annoyed and very worried. And worry, again, I say this to people not to worry about things, but it's easily said than done, because I know worry kills more people than anything else. People worry. People go to bed worrying at night where the next food could come from, where the next bill will come from. And it doesn't help you. It doesn't cure anything. It just makes it worse. And I might say, as somebody who worries a lot about things, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't worry about things. I'm not going to sit here, because I do worry about things a lot. At the end of the day, it doesn't do me any good. I know myself it doesn't do any good, but I still worry at the end of the day about things. But it doesn't do any good. It makes it worse. If anything, it makes it worse, because you think about it and you keep thinking, but because again, your brain really thinks about the negative. It doesn't think about the positive effects on worry. Like this, there's sometimes you can worry goodly about something, like having a surprise birthday party and somebody finding out. You could worry about that, but we always think of the negative side. We always try and think of the negative. What's the bad, worst thing that can happen out of it? And that's that's something that the human mind always thinks about. We always think about, and we always worry about things. Is that, and I'm saying like a professor here, but I know for experience. But yeah, I say to people, not to worry about things. Forget about it. Do something that you like, and forget about it. Don't be thinking about it constantly, thinking, because there is a such thing as overthinking, and young people particularly overthink a lot. But the moment in time, with obviously the restrictions in schools and things like this, it's very, very difficult. And obviously, as I said at the beginning of the year, young people didn't meet up with their friends and everything, had to stay at home, and it was very different. I'm sure young people agree with me. It's very, very difficult on them. So that's what I'm saying to people. And what I was saying, I was trying to get in touch with Foley at one stage, because I was saying they should be given the last 2 weeks off, young people, and both in primary and secondary schools, for just because it's stressful. It is stressful. It's stressful what they have to go through, especially if you're leaving. So, aka me, I couldn't care less about grades. I might just tell you straight, I couldn't. It's not many my concern grades. Because at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is your best. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to worry myself about it, because in first year I worried myself too much about grades and this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, it sets this. It just sets this. There's always a job there. There's a job for you. and there's a place and there's a role in society for you, and there's no point worrying about jobs. There's no point worrying about getting good grades in this standard. You get what you get, and to me, it's only a piece of paper. That's my position, right? Because in first year I would have said, you have to do well, have to do this. But at the end of the day, the only thing you have to do is your best. I mean, there's not that I have to do this, have to do this. The only thing you can do is your best. And to hell with whatever anybody else says. Because that's all, as long as you're healthy and happy, then that's all you need. And that's the biggest thing I could say to anybody. As long as you're healthy and happy, that's all you want. That's all you want. And to hell with everything else. Because as long as you're healthy and happy, there's nothing else in the world you can need. I'm going on a tangent here, but it's just the honest fear. There's loads of fear in the art school, in majority schools. There's loads of worry and anxiety, obviously, but it is difficult. It is difficult, and I say to young people, to hang up the brightest colours. And I also say to people, hang up the brightest colours, and keep pushing forward. Always keep talking to your friends. Keep talking. And that's the word I use, keep talking. Because if you talk, the more you talk, the more it helps you. It does help you. If you sit and say nothing, it doesn't help you, because that's something I used to do. When I have problems, I just sit there and say nothing, pretend that nothing, everything was rosy and dandy. But it actually helps. It really, really helps you talking even to your friend, your teacher. Because at the end of the day, everybody's here for you. Everybody wants to help out. So please, don't be afraid to talk. It is a strange time. I will say that it's a very, very strange time for people, especially young people. It is very difficult. But we will get through this again. As long as you keep doing them things, as we're saying, believe in yourself is another thing. And keep talking. Just keep talking and talking and talk, because it's good to talk. It is really, really good to talk, and it's good to keep talking. Because that's something young people too nowadays have gotten into a custom of, and not really talking too much. But there's never such thing as over talking. You just have to keep talking. Like I am. I'm talking for 7 minutes and I will shut my mouth once. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing that you keep talking, you're able to keep talking, keep a conversation going. It's a good thing. So please take care of yourselves, and don't be afraid if you need to contact me on Facebook, on my Facebook page or my Twitter page, or even in the comment section down below if you want to contact me. I try and get back, and forgive me if my spelling are terrible, because I'm trying to when I'm writing up things, I spell things atrociously. I have a letter here in front of me to write off to somebody, and I think half the spelling is wrong, but at the end of the day I give it the best shot I could, because I'm on my own. And it's just about a few things I was done, but looking at here I can see a few spelling mistakes, but I don't know how to spell it. So I do my best. I can't make it out, so what about it? As long as something's done about it, and that's all that matters. But yeah, take care everybody. Please take care of yourself, and remember that you're awesome, and remember that you matter. And please take care of yourself and mind yourself, and goodbye.